Now, the Kia Finals Performer of the Week. Listen, no surprise, Jahrome Hughes. Jahrome was unbelievable. 3 tries, set a couple up, Drinky. His running game, he is just... Look, we'll talk about it in a second. I think he's the best running half I've certainly ever seen.
Yeah, he's just so unassuming, I think. He's not big or anything, but somehow he can break a tackle and, he's definitely turning into a massive Storm player of like the whole club.
Yeah, yes, in the history of the club, I tell you what, he's a producer and playmakers. He was something, boys.
Oh, he's had a... This game probably typifies the year he's had. Just makes the right decision pretty much all of the time, whether it's to run, whether it's to kick, or whether it's to pass.
But plays a lot of what he's... This is going to sound pretty silly, but plays what he sees in front of him. You know, a lot of clubs they have their play set, but they'll stick to that set where he sees... If there's a gap, he's just going, I'm going to go for it without having to worry about what they've set up previously.
And he does find it. He plays to his strengths. Yeah. He's a running player. He doesn't try to finesse the football. He's a running player. As I said before, I think he's the best running half the game has seen. There's been some beauties over the years. Let's have a look at some of the others. Of course, Alfie Langer was one. Alf's running game, just taking the big blokes on right through the middle of the ruck. Our man, Jeff Tuvey. I tell you what, Tubes, mate, tough, fast, had really good footwork, terrific running playmaker. The other one, mate, Turvey Mortimer. Great man, Turvey Mortimer. Really important to the New South Wales history. And, mate, he was the linchpin in those entertainers' years, that era at St George. Mate, Brandy. Saw Brandy out the back, our own Greg Alexander. Brandy would, through the year, slip back to fullback for sometimes a month at a time under Gus. And this one, mate, Billy Smith. I didn't get to see Billy play, but everyone tells me incredible running player. And actually would play centres quite a bit, Billy Smith. Boys, let's have a talk about the game. 48-18, Melbourne over the Roosters. Mate, look, let's talk about Nelson first. Nelson Asafa-Solomona off the kick-off. Again, drama off the kick-off like last week. Shoulder hit the head of Lindsay Collins. Lindsay left the field, didn't return. Nelson, boys, early today, 4-week suspension. Yeah, look, it's the traditionalists will say, there's nothing in it, but we know now you can't go anywhere near the head. Yeah. It would have been interesting if I suppose if Lindsay came back on or Lindsay didn't go straight off.
Played the ball the right way.
Played the ball, we probably would have missed it. But
I mean, look, it's 4 weeks if he cops it. 5 if he'll fight.
How disappointing,
it doesn't seem fair.
For Big Nelson, no, not fair.
Yeah, it's been a tough year for him.
Look, he hasn't picked someone up and speared him on their head, or hasn't kicked someone, or he hasn't done. It's an illegal move, but it's not something you've done intentionally.
With his size too.
Yeah.
So something like how the jockeys can defer it. Like in the horse racing, they've got a big
for a big game like this.
Would you trade 10 games in next year?
When you've got but Lindsay Collins, he's a big boy himself. Yeah. So you're going to have that contact, but it's just I tell
you what, and to look ahead, I tell you look, Penrith have got to win tonight. The Sharkies could very well upset them, but if it is Penrith, then, mate, not having Nelson up against
they'll be favourites if they get through the Sharks tonight.
Highlights of the game. I tell you, Drinky, the Roosters started fast and had a really good period at the start of the second, but apart from that, the Storm, off 2-week preparation, just dominated them.
Yeah, they don't feel like when their momentum's not not with Storm, you never really see them panic or fold under it. They hang in there. That's why the way that club's built is to be mentally strong, and they showed that in the first 10 minutes last night.
Jeez, I tell you, Paps was good. It's the best I've seen Paps play for a couple of seasons. And you see when he sweeps around, the defence always trying to protect the 3-on-2, and just, you just can't slide against Pappenhausen.
When your spine has become probably the most informed spine in the comp at the moment, with Munster, Hughes and Paps now, Paps has been good for the last couple of weeks. Munster was outstanding last week with his running game. I think that's a warning sign to whoever wins the game tonight, that Melbourne are going to be very, very tough to beat especially when Munster's playing with the confidence he's playing with at the moment.
And here's the thing, right? The traditional way about thinking about football is you go forward, then you push the ball to the edges. Mate, Melbourne just keep kicking the door down. And this is the thing about Melbourne. You might be able to contain the yardage game, but actually those blokes will start taking you forward.
Well, Roosters never won the wrestle. They never won the ruck really at all last night. And you got someone like Harry Grant who he watches. So he'll pick someone out. Like if someone's on the deck, he goes. But his support players in Munster and Hughes and Paps, they see that before Hughes sees it. I mean, before Grant sees it. So they're already up, his backside, waiting for the ball.
You see it like, and I suppose, you spend a lot of time at the Melbourne Storm playing with these blokes. They attack in 2s and 3s, don't they, in patches?
Yeah, there's just a lot of, I think that's with, I guess, probably all of them working under Bill, just communicating to each and every one of them. He was always in them about just constantly trying to be on the ball and call plays. So I'm guessing all 3 of them are in Harry's ear every play, and Harry's going to choose the option who to go to.
Once they start going punching holes in you, it's just continually, it just keeps going. Boys, Fletch, JWH and Luke Keary, long careers with in the NRL, but with the Roosters in particular. They've been class acts. They've had great NRL careers, and this was nice from the Melbourne Storm.
Yeah, it was. I think Jared. I mean, obviously Keary, and then there's 3 more. It's 5 all up with Tupanua and both Josephs. But I think Jared will be the biggest loss for them.
Yeah.
He's the alpha of that team. All those forwards feed off what he does with his aggression. He's a great leader. So, next year's going to be.
What did you think of this season, Fletch?
And we've been saying it all year. The knock on them has been they were beaten up on those teams a bit lower than them.
Yep.
And when it got the Penriths and the Melbournes, even the Sharks, they sort of faltered a little bit.
Because you look like a finals 4 finish appears to be a successful season, but in my opinion,
not for them.
I think the style of football they played for the most part of the year, and look, the big one, given the fact they still can't beat the benchmark teams, Melbourne Storm and the Panthers, and the thing about it is, again, and that's the inability to beat those sides. Isn't about the roster. It is about the style of football they play. And I hear all the time and say, Roosters football, the Roosters way. Well, they've got to tear it up because it ain't working. And Robbo starts next year. He'll start under pressure. It's a big season. It's a big off season of self-assessment.
Is it a pass mark when you've got no Cheese and you've got no Walker?
It's still, mate. It's still a very, very strong side.
Yeah, that's what but would you say, well, that's fair enough? Like that, would it have been different having the Cheese and Walker in there?
I think just given the record against Melbourne Storm and those sides, it would have been a shock. If they'd have won with those blokes, it still would have been a shock. So I think.
Well, they're going to struggle again next because they're not back until round 10 or round 12. Cheese. You got the Chads coming in, so the Chad was signed.
Is that what we call him? The Chad.
Yeah. I mean, he's an enigma to himself.
What a head of hair.
So he was brought as a backup half, but he will start the season, you'd imagine.
Yeah.
Probably
What does he bring to the club?
Well, he obviously losing Keary, probably just an older head, maturity, and
just oldness.
Not too much oldness. He's quite young, but I think just experience in the halves now without Sam not playing early on. Might be him and Sandon.
Yeah.